What are your memories? We're going back a ways now. What are your memories of
that was way back already.
We're going back just as far to a match you had with Kerry Von Erich in Oklahoma City. Do you remember wrestling Kerry in a singles match?
Oh man, that was a long time ago. I can't remember the match, but I can remember wrestling him.
Okay.
You know, I was in Mid-South, and we worked a couple of deals. It was Dallas Wrestling, it was Mid-South, and we worked a couple of them. Wasn't Kevin in there too?
I know I saw a singles match with you and Kerry, but I know you did a lot of shows with the Von Erichs on the shows and stuff like that.
I can remember Kerry. Kerry's like the nicest guy in the whole world.
Yeah.
You know, gosh, just what a talent he was. And I can remember the match, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Kerry was a good guy.
Yeah.
But you know what was a tough one was Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah, well, he's a guy.
I was with Kerry Von Erich the day before too. We were in it was like El Paso, Texas, or something. We wrestled.
Really?
And we roomed together.
Wow.
And then he went home, and that's when that happened.
Did he seem depressed when you roomed with him that night?
Sure, he was great. We had the time of our lives.
Huh.
But I think he was going to go to jail. Is what it was.
Right.
That's what they say.
You know, good guy.
How about Paul Boesch? What do you remember of Paul Boesch?
Oh, what a gentleman.
Yeah.
Paul Boesch, when you were in Houston, Texas, every time you wrestled there, Paul would come in the dressing room and sit and talk to every single person in the room. He was probably the nicest guy in this whole business. It was almost like he shouldn't have been a promoter. Because you go to his town and you made money too. You know, he paid out the money and didn't steal it all, and you know, good man.
Wow. What are your memories of teaming with Nikolai?
I love Nikolai. We became roommates down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he taught me a lot. You know, I couldn't do an interview, you know, especially as a heel. I wasn't a bad guy. I mean, you know, it was really hard, but he really helped me out, and he was the one that, you know, made me a heel. I mean, the Russian gimmick. And everything that we did, I mean, he'd always tell me what to do. And Nikolai couldn't do a lot of it. Yeah. You know, I mean, he was the giant teddy bear, but, you know, he couldn't move and do all that stuff because he was so muscle bound and everything. If he took an arm drag, it looked terrible. And so I did all that stuff. But he always told me, he says, once you learn how to do all that stuff, it's going to be better for you later on. And I love Nikolai.
Yeah.
Good man.
Now, you guys did a shot, the Russians did a shot at Super Clash, I guess, for Vern, where you guys wrestled Krusher and Bruiser.
Was that the Crusher, the Bruiser, and Baron?
Yes.
Kaminsky Park?
Yes.
Oh, that was fun. Growing up, you know, the Crusher, the Bruiser, and Baron, they were my heroes. They were why I watched, you know, and got into wrestling.
Yeah.
Was because of those guys. And then to wrestle them at Kaminsky Park, it was huge. That was a dream. That was the dream match right there.
Yeah. Was it as much fun as you thought it was going to be?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys were joking the whole time in the match. Yeah, it was a real good time.
Yeah. Wow. At what point was it by then, or was it after? Did you say to yourself, "Wow, I finally made it. I'm doing what I wanted to do and having a good time, making good money"?
I said that way before that.
Did you?
Yeah. By the time I got to Louisiana, that was the long trips and making $25 and $50 a night, and you know, knowing that you're going to make $200 or $300 a payoff, and you know, that's when I really wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, girls in all the towns and out partying every night, and you had the greatest guys in the world. They're all your brothers. You know, it was that was it.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, what happened with your knee injury? Didn't you have a knee injury when you were working for Crockett during that time?
Yeah, I was. We were in Richmond, Virginia, and a bunch of us who were probably up for 2 or 3 days. You know, long trips everywhere. Really tired, and we had to get up early in the morning to do TV at WTBS. And I was wrestling Sam Houston, and the Road Warriors were going to hit the ring at the time, and I was going to do something where I was going to hurt Sam Houston and win the match. And I was the TV champion at the time. And I came off the top, and when I came off the top, my boot got kind of stuck in the mat a little bit. And and then it slipped. And I hyperextended my leg and broke my leg.
Wow.
And I finished the match and had Sam Houston beat me for the TV title because I knew I was out.
Yeah.
And I ended up flying home with a broken leg because Dr. Ueda was my doctor, was in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was the best there was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in surgery for about 8 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
Uh-huh. Was it tough to sit out all that time? Because, I mean, you were so...
I finally made it.
Yeah.
And then I had to sit out. But the guys were so unbelievable in that territory. We were like a championship baseball team or football team.
Mm-hmm.
I was out, and everybody kicked in like $25 off their paycheck. So at the end of the week, I'd get $250 a week.
Oh, wow.
Just to pay for my apartment and whatever. I mean, the greatest guys in the world. And that was, Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, the Rock and Roll Express, and Dusty and Magnum, and they all did it.
Wow.
I mean, I'll never forget it.
Huh. Now, did you feel by this time, well, I guess by the time you came back, now the Cold War had been over for a couple of years. Did you think the Russian gimmick was starting to run out of steam a little bit?
No, it never ran out of
steam.
No? No, it was hot.
Yeah.
And, all the way up until I went to the WWF at the time, it was hot.
Wow. Now, what are your memories of the feud that all three of you had, the Russians and Magnum? Magnum and Nikita, and you guys were all involved.
It didn't last long enough. It was like built for a one-match deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish it could have worked in Angle where it went a long time.
Yeah.
Because Magnum was another one of those guys that he was over so big. He was like the single guy like the Rock and Roll Express. They were over so much as a tag because they're young and good-looking guys, and Magnum was that same way. Yeah. So it was fun to work with him.
Yeah.
And he could work.
Now, where were you when you heard about Magnum's crash? Do you remember?
I can't remember exactly. I think I was coming back from like Greenville, South Carolina or something. And he got back early. And I can't remember where he was at, but the next day at TV is when I heard about it. And, back then the baby faces didn't travel with the heels or anything. So,
right.
I didn't hear about it till later, but otherwise I would have been with them probably, I mean.
Yeah.
You travel 3-4 guys together most of the time. And I think he just dropped off a few guys when it happened. So, yeah, it was a bad deal.
Wow. Were you able to go see him in the hospital, or was it so kayfabe back then, as heels, you don't want to go to the hospital?
I went in and saw him.
Did you?
I saw him at the hospital, yeah.
Wow. Was it tough to see somebody?
Oh, yeah. We were, went from Louisiana to there, so we knew each other great.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Wow.
Especially when he was the man.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to be the next Ric Flair kind of guy,
Okay. Yeah. I probably skipped over this, but who taught you how to do promos, or did you kind of just figure it out on your own?
I was always uncomfortable doing them unless I felt right.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to Florida, being with Jim Neidhart,
mm-hmm.
it finally felt like I was really Krusher Krushchev.
Mm.
When I was with Bill Watts, I was scared to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
in promo.
absolutely.
And once you become the person that, you are on TV, then it got to be easy. And that's when it happened. In Florida, I really thought I was Krusher Khrushchev, a turncoat. And then it got to be a piece of cake to do the interviews.
Yeah.
And then when I, went to Charlotte, it was the same way. But then when I got to be Demolition Smash, and it's just, that was me. I could easily become that person.
Yeah.
And the Repo Man, when I became the Repo Man and I put the mask on, I was really that goofy, that guy. And that's kind of how the interviews got to be really easy then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.